people need to know they can trust you. So when you're interviewing, trust is the most important thing you need to convey. And trust is more challenging to establish when you're doing it virtually. So if you're doing it through Zoom, I really implore you, a couple of tactics that I would implement is ask questions about them. People get so nervous. I'm interviewing, I have to talk about what I didn't. Hang on. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. Your goal is to get them to know, like, and trust you. And the way to get people to trust you is to ask open-ended questions. Ask about them. Well, I'm sure this must be really challenging for you, having to interview so many people back to back. Is Zoom draining you? Start asking them questions that show that you're empathetic, that you care, that you're the kind of person they want on their team.
Y'all welcome Heather Monahan. Woo! Yes.
And she's faculty at Harvard.
Huh?
She's on faculty at Harvard.
Harvard?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Big time people.
Heather. All right, before we get started, okay, we always like to play this fun game, okay? We like to play this fun game.
Uh-oh.
I didn't tell you about this, so I'm just going to throw it out there. We like to play this game called Would You Rather? All right, so we're going to play another game of Would You Rather? So, Heather, tell me, would you rather be completely invisible for one day or be able to fly for one day? What would you rather do? Completely invisible or be able to fly for one day?
Fly. That's easy. Fly.
Fly? All right.
Yeah,
Mark?
flying. I have those dreams, yeah.
Yeah, I think I would fly too. Yeah, I would love to fly. Yeah.
Love to fly?
Yep.
Foster, what about you?
Oh, yeah, I have those dreams. So I get to fly all the time. What was y'all talking about?
That was an easy one. I don't know. Maybe y'all could put a better would you rather question in the comments. And guys, let me know what's a good one. What? Oh, come on, son. Oh, Foster got
What is that?
That was too easy.
What do you got?
Come on, son.
Oh, I love the sign. That is awesome, Foster. Great job.
Come on, son, sign.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
All right, guys, we're going to interrupt our normal programming, okay, because we got Heather in the house.
We're flipping the script.
We're going to flip it. We're going to go to landings, and we'll do a prayer at the very end. But I want to dive in because we only got so much limited time she's gracing us with, so we're super excited to have her here. Now, Heather, I got to hear you in Glenn Lundy's room, Breakfast with Champions in Clubhouse. There was a conversation going on in that room that really got me excited. It's something that we haven't talked before on this show. And, you were talking about, and we were talking about in that room, how, you got gender inequality, right? How women make less and are promoted less than men because of gender inequality. But there's a flip side to that coin, which is where women are bullying other women and pushing other women down, right, in the workforce. Can you talk more about that? It was a great conversation, and so many people raised their hand and could identify with that. So I'd love to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I actually did my TED Talk all about this. And the reason why is, listen, this is a huge problem, as you saw, Trevor, when everyone started raising their hands. Yes, happened to me. But nobody wants to address it. And it's very frustrating to me, having been someone who was in that situation. I had so many male advocates in corporate America. I was very blessed to have great mentors, surrounded by a lot of men that were my champions. However, I ended up getting fired after 14 years at the same company, more than doubling the company's revenues in excess of $200 million annually. And I got fired once a woman was promoted to CEO.
Oh.
So, I had a great experience working with the men, but as soon as I had a female CEO, I was out.
Oh,
wow. We're just talking about that at my HR group this morning. We have these breakout groups, Heather, and they're cool.
So in your opinion, why was that? Was it competition, or was it you were a threat? Is that what it was?
When you are a threat, you will always be the target. And I was that woman's target all day.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's just petty jealousy.
So how long? Okay, so I'm curious. How long was it? Okay, she became CEO. Like, how long was it? Was it like a week later, a month later? Like, how long was it after she became CEO that it was like, got to go?
She came in and she's like, oh, you're out.
Yeah.
Well, it's super interesting. In hindsight, it's really clear. Back then, I didn't know. There's a window where her father had fallen ill. So it wasn't official immediately. She had this window called interim CEO. And what I didn't realize is while she was interim CEO, she could not terminate any employee.
Got it.
The minute she became officially CEO is the minute that she sent me an email and said, come over to my office. We need to meet.
Oh.
Okay. So she already had your name written down. She was like, all right. Foster's got the rifle out. She already had you in her scope.
She had it in the scope. Yeah.
Wow. All right, so let's talk about that. So you were crushing it, 14 years, at that company and just climbing up that ladder, right? First of all, I want to know if the audience can relate to that, and I know they can. How many of you spent that kind of time at a company, at corporate America, and then got the axe? Tell us in the comments. But so you're up and you're climbing that ladder. You get the axe. How did you bounce back from that?
The first thing that I did, well, first of all, I was bawling my eyes out, right? I mean, I'm a single mom. I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. I freaked out. I was in shock, complete shock. I'm a type A overachiever, always have been. And so I cried. The first thing I did was cried. I went under a weighted blanket, right? I was a hot mess. But I did something super smart, which a lot of people told me was a terrible idea, and it was a great idea. I posted online, I have just been fired. And if I've ever helped you in 14 years, I would love to hear from you today. And that post went viral, and it opened so many opportunities for me, so many doors.
All right, there's one.
Yep. There's two.
One. All right.
That gets all three of us.
Job
right there.
seekers, y'all need to post that right now. Be like, looky here.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, you job seekers, you guys should be dropping all your mics. Go, Robin.
Tell us about your 5-step plan to create confidence. I want to know about this 5 steps. I bet we got 5 mics to drop.
So I was in the media business for 20 years, and the way we generated revenue was through advertising, right? So I read so many research papers and white papers around how to effectively and ultimately execute around advertisements. What's the right way to advertise? And so what I learned over all this time is that there's a 5-step process to advertise. What I decided is when my confidence was eroded terribly by that woman giving me disparaging looks, not returning my emails, putting me down, holding me back, all the stuff, all the awful stuff, I decided, okay, I'm going to run an ad campaign for myself, to elicit confidence within myself. And that's what I did. So the first thing that you do is you choose a platform. I chose my mind, right? I'm in total control of it. The next thing that you do is frequency sells, frequency and messaging. So McDonald's doesn't run one ad a week and hope you go feel an urge to buy McDonald's French fries. They run it 7 times a day. They want to reach you 7 times a day. So I knew I needed to run an ad campaign 7 times a day with frequency so that I would begin hearing it so often it would become commonplace to me and I would accept it. So I knew I needed a call to action. For me, the call to action was going to be fear is a green light. That means go, because I found myself so scared and sometimes stuck in situations when I would encounter this woman or was just feeling low. My ad campaign was all around I am confident, I am powerful, I am enough, I am creative, all the I am statements that I wanted to step into and be. Then you add a visual component. I happen to have a life-size cutout of myself right over there.
Oh, wait. You can't say that, not bringing in the thing.
Oh, we got to see that.
Yeah, she's like, should I get it? Should I not get it?
That's a break.
I'll bring it right now.
Yeah, go get it. Oh, we want to see it. Yeah, go get it.
Tracy Morgan's got one. I want to see what hers looks like.
Yes.
This is awesome.
Yep, here we go. Live size.
She's big. She's kind of big.
The lady in the red dress. Oh, you got to go ahead, girl. The lady in the red dress.
That is awesome. I got to give myself.
There we go.
So you have the cardboard cutout, a picture of where you're just like, yeah, right? You're just like, your Superwoman picture, right?
Yeah, just any picture that you don't have to use a life-size cutout like I do, but something where you feel like I'm really confident in this moment. In that moment, I was super confident. I'm like rocking my red dress, feeling like fire. So find an image where you feel really powerful. And while you're owning your I am statements, while you're stepping into your call to action, look at that visual. It's really powerful, and it just locks everything together. And the final step is you want to use a jingle or a song to really ingrain it and encode it in your brain. And I use the song Kendrick Lamar, I Am, I think it's called, the song is called I Am, but it's really all about loving yourself.
Yeah.
And so I'd play that song, I'd look at the visual, I'd own my I Am statements, I'd talk about fear is a green light that means go. And I did that for a month. And I will tell you, I walked into a meeting in a red dress, just like that, in the boardroom. She was the only other female other than me. She completely ignored me, and I had it at that point. And I raised my hand and I said, hey, good morning. You must have missed me. I'm here. It's great to see you. And I will tell you, her eyes went on fire. And I just knew I'm done eroding my confidence. I'm done with allowing others to treat me poorly. And I get it. We're teaching others how to treat us, and I'm done with it.
Woo!
Done with it. Done with it. Watch that.
Yes.
Overcome that fear.
Let me
Overcome
see.
that
Mics
fear.
are flying online too, I bet.
So I love, you said the frequency, right? Because, like you said, McDonald's, right? So, they don't just market one time. They do it over and over and over and over and over. So you're training your brain. You're just like speaking that life into yourself every single day. You've got the cardboard cutout and you're just like, yes, I've got this. I just love that. I actually, when I was in Clubhouse, I was taking notes. And I don't know why I took the one thing that really stood out was the cardboard cutout. I was like, I need a cardboard Trevor like this. Dun, 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 like that.
But Trevor, I'll tell you that the cardboard cutout, where that stems from, I the first time I made that, I was a VP of sales. So this is like a decade ago. I've had many cardboard cutouts. But what it was a difference maker for me. And for anyone listening right now, if you're having a hard time breaking through to somebody, an ultimate decision maker you want to reach, get a cardboard cutout and put like a little, hey, wanted to introduce myself since we haven't been able to connect. And those people, that's how I land on the Steve Harvey Show. The executive producer wouldn't call me back. And I was frustrated. I'm like, forget this. I'm sending a life-size cutout. And I sent a note that said, I know it's fun hanging with me in the office, but it's way more fun when the real me comes in. When can I see you? And he called me right back.
Just send a life-size cutout.
Dump them out.
Wow. Hold up.
It's like Steve Harvey. You gon' see me, brother.
Wow. Dang, that's good stuff. So you sent them the cardboard cutout to get on.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so job seekers, y'all need to be thinking about that's an outside the box. Where did you think of that? Where did that come from? Was that just in you, or did you? I led teams of people in every city across the United States, and what I would realize after a couple of years of doing this, when I'd fly into town and walk into the office, everyone would respond great, and I'd get their attention, and they'd deliver and execute. But then I'd fly away and they wouldn't be communicating. They wouldn't be delivering on our agreed upon goals. And I started saying to myself, I can't be in every city every day. And I'm tired from traveling. I have to find a way to have a presence when I'm not there. How can I do it? And I started whiteboarding out ideas like I would for any business challenge. When I would just write down different ideas. And then it came to me, I need a version of me that can live in that building that they have to see every morning when they walk into work. And that's where she came from. All right. I got to give you a round of applause for that.
It's like a scarecrow.
Wow.
I'm going to put it up and I'm going to be there.
I bet they didn't get rid of it. They had it when you showed up on the show. They probably had it, didn't they?
Love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They thought it was hysterical. Yeah, they would take pictures with it, and it was the whole thing.
All right, so that's brilliant. But I also want to talk about, Heather, you work with a lot of companies, right? What do you think employers are looking for when they're hiring? What are the things that they're looking for today?
Yeah, so right now, the most critical thing, because so many people are on remote workforce, is people need to know they can trust you, right? So when you're interviewing, trust is the most important thing you need to convey. And trust is more challenging to establish when you're doing it virtually. So if you're doing it through Zoom, I really implore you, a couple of tactics that I would implement is ask questions about them. When, people get so nervous, I'm interviewing, I have to talk about what I didn't, hang on. People do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Boom.
So your goal is to get them to know, like, and trust you. And the way to get people to trust you is to ask open-ended questions. Ask about them. Well, I'm sure this must be really challenging for you, having to interview so many people back to back. Is Zoom draining you? How does that work? Start asking them questions that show that you're empathetic, that you care, that you're the kind of person they want on their team.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny.
I have a slide like this in our summit that I teach.
Yes.
It basically stated exactly what you just said.
Exactly. You know what it reminds me of?
Said,
okay, so Heather, I used to sell cars, right? And there was this.
Of course you did, Trevor.
Yeah, right. It makes sense, right? It just makes sense.
doesn't it?
So there was this commercial, and it was the Badger. Okay.
What?
The Badger was this commercial, and it was a salesperson, right?
It
He was
wasn't
a car
University of
salesperson.
Wisconsin either.
And he was like, in the commercial, he was training the other salespeople. He's like, all you got to do is just ask them questions. Ask them questions about their family. Make them think you care.
Wow.
And then you sold a car. Like, it just reminded me of what you're saying. Like, you got to ask them questions. You got to get to know them. You got to get them to break those barriers
a
down.
Badger.
The Badger, yeah.
The Bucky Badger.
The other thing, obviously not in the badging sense, but you want to do it in the genuine sense.
Badging.
And what I would do is do my research ahead of time. So I would look on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. What connection points do you have in common? One of the things you might find out is, that person's son went to University of Miami. You graduated from there. So you're able to bring that up as a commonality, a common ground.
Yeah.
People want some commonality and some trust and some connection points these days.
So like stocking.
Yes. As a matter of fact, so Heather, I know that you're a leader in sales, right? And that's really your EVP of sales, and that you've got sales under your belt as experience. So as a leader, so our audience is primarily job seekers, right? And so right now they are in sales. That's their job, is to sell their skill set, sell themselves. Can you talk a little bit about that process? Because that's exactly it. People want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And so maybe relate the two from a sales perspective and a job seeker perspective, how they're married.
Marky Mark, everyone is in sales, and you
That's
know
right.
that, right? So I don't care if you're a
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom. Maybe you're trying to convince your husband to take you out for dinner because you don't want to cook tonight. You are in sales, right?
That's right.
I was a VP of sales. Clearly, I was in sales, but then I wrote a book. And guess what happens when you write a book? Nothing unless you sell it, right? So here's the thing. There's billions of great books in the world, but there's very few authors that know how to sell. So you need to learn sales as a life skill. This is how you will survive in life. In every exchange, someone is sold. Will it be you or will it be the other person? I've devoted my life to being the person that's doing the selling, and I encourage you to do the same. So when you approach, I always suggest to people, put yourself in the shoes of the other person. I did this with my book. I wanted it to get into a company called Books and Books. And I thought, what matters to them? How can I bring value? What is their problem that I can help solve? And I thought to myself, they don't have enough store traffic. Okay, why don't I go there, leverage my social media to draw an audience for them? And if I do so, in lieu of that, they'll add my book to their collection. Boom, problem solved. So start thinking, how can you solve other people's problems? What's unique, valuable, and different about you?
I've got a question.
Exactly.
I've got a question. So we're talking about, we're going to try to sell it, right? We're going to try to convince our customers that we care, right? Here's my question, and you guys listening will not be surprised that I'm asking this. Why can't we care?
What do you mean, why can't we care? What you mean?
Why can't we care? Why can't we care? Why can't we really give a rip?
We gotta care.
Being genuine, you mean?
Come on, son.
Come on, son.
Well, there you go. Mic drop. Come on, son. All right. Hey, I got a question
guys,
from
if we
Robin.
really care, we can't fool it. People like me, I can tell when you're full of
I get what you're
sales.
saying,
Yeah.
Foster.
You
Like,
see
why
what I'm
don't we
saying? Yep.
actually really care?
Yep.
Like, quit faking it. Actually care about people. Okay, I was confused there for a minute. I'm like, I didn't know what you were saying.
Exactly.
Me too.
Yeah, I think we're all like, the
That's
job
my
father has
brand.
spoken.
That's my brand.
Why
I'm
don't
the
we
old guy.
actually give a dang? Woo! Foster Williams, the job father, has spoken.
We've been dropping
Alan,
mics.
do
Is it
you
time
like
to give
that? That
something
was
away?
good,
I think it's
wasn't
time to give
Well,
something
hold
away.
on. Because I told the audience to ask a question, and Robin Triggs, who was the lucky winner earlier, she did ask a question. She wants to know from Heather, best sales training resources, books, videos, courses she would recommend. I know that's a lot.
Oh my gosh, this book right here is the best sales book
Yes.
in the world. Get it? It's unfreaking believable. Read the reviews.
It's
sick.
better
It's
than
so
Jeff
good.
Gedimer's book.
Here's the thing, and you guys already know this. People want teach me, and that's great. You want to access knowledge that's going to help support you, and you want to be a constant learner. But you also need to trust yourself, right? The more you show up as the real version of you, the more people will connect with you. You'll pull the right kinds of people towards you and repel the wrong. So instead of focusing so much on, I need the training, I need this, I need it, also think about, I need to show up as the real me. Because when you start showing up as the real you, that employer is going to want to train you.
Yes. And I like that because that ties into what Foster was saying. Why don't we just really care about people?
I care
But
about.
maybe you don't.
I care.
Maybe that's not your authentic self. Maybe
And
you
if
just
it's
don't
not-
care about people.
And
I
if
don't know.
it's not, there's people like me out there that can see right through that.
I think we got another question. And
Yes.
This is right up your alley, Heather. So Smita Mehdi asked, Heather, when asked about your career gaps, how do you present that with confidence? How would you do it?
Okay,
Samantha.
always honesty. Honesty is the only option. Never lie. And I'm asked this a lot. A lot of people send me DMs and say, hey, I was out of work for a year. Should I just try to cover that up? No, you own it. So put yourself in the other person's shoes. How can you leverage that window? How can you bridge that gap and share with them? So I'm going to make it up. Let's say that you had a sick parent and you had to take a year off from work to work with your family and care for your mother. So I would ask the person, have you ever had a situation in your life where you had a sick family member? I'd ask them, because you want to see, is there a connection point? Because listen, if this guy isn't going to understand that I need to take care of a sick family member, that's not my guy anyways. I don't want to work with people who aren't like that, right? So you want to show up as that honest version of you. You want to find a connection point. You want to ask open-ended questions, and then you want to tell the truth.
Right. Well, and in doing so, I think that you build empathy just naturally, right? Because it's not just a one-sided, like, here's my answer, but it's an interaction. It's part of the relationship, right? Having that interaction.
Speaking of relationship, let's switch gears just a little bit. Let's talk about relationship. That's Foster's favorite word. So we're going to talk about relationship. We're going to talk about networking. Okay, this is the Who You Know Job Networking Show, isn't it? Right? We're on that show. I'm on that show.
I'm on that show.
All right, so let's talk about networking. What is more important? Okay, I'm going to set you up. This is a setup question. Is what you know in life, your skill set, your knowledge, what's in your brain, what's on that book, that paper, or who you know, been more successful for Heather? Don't think about the actual name of the show. I really want to know the real answer for you. Okay, is it what you know or who you know? What's been more valuable to you in your life?
I'm not going to answer your question exactly, but when I think about what's most valuable, my work ethic is such a differentiator. It's mind blowing, right? So number one, I know my work ethic is a huge differentiator. My creativity and ability to see things very differently than other people. But then thirdly, these are all three things that I know so many flipping people. It's insane. There's always a person I can hot dial that is going to help me get into wherever I need to go. So all three of those things, and it goes back to, what's unique, special, and different about you, and showing up for other people. I traveled for 20 years in media, and no matter what city I would go to, I didn't go back to the hotel gym and go to bed early. I would book a dinner with someone because I wanted to hear about their life. I wanted to understand them. I wanted to find out how they could plug into my world, how I could help them, how I could show up for them. And I would, it was tiring, and it still is. I'm leaving right after this to go to a meeting to meet with somebody that flew down here to see me, but I'm going to show up for them because it's important to them. Whenever you can show up for other people, you're going to get huge gains and rewards from that.
Yeah, I love that.
You drop it. You drop it. Woo!
Yeah, showing up in a world of flakes today, right?
Ooh.
In a world of flakes today, you got to show up. If you want an authentic relationship, you got to be there. Like, I have so many friends that I can think of, and I'm like, I don't know if I could rely on them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, showing up is key to a relationship.
Can I speak to that real quick on showing up? Gosh, I just love we're going here because I was planning on going here, and then I thought I got sidetracked. Okay, but we're going here.
Yeah,
so,
Heather drug us in.
Audience, there's been a little bit of a problem that's been going on. We haven't had this problem in years, but it's come back.
Okay.
And that is showing up. We're having a lot of people register, sign up, Like, hey, I'm
Oh.
in search. I need your help, and I'm gonna come and I'm gonna register for this event, and I'm gonna and then there's a 50% no-show rate. 50%. It has not been that high in years.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away by it. I'm like, are you kidding me? How this many people are gonna register for something, and this many people show up? Shame on you. You need
Trevor,
to show up.
hang on a second. I think you're taking the wrong approach, and you don't have kids, do you?
I do.
Yes, actually, he does.
I got two boys. Yes.
That's a weird.
Oh boy, then this is a parenting lesson. All right, so here's the thing. You have to think about anytime when I'm hearing you say that, I'm saying to myself, what is Trevor not doing in his communication? What could you be doing differently? Like I always look at myself first, right? Before I look at the audience or the kids or whatever. I think to myself, hang on, is there another way? And typically with sales, and this is sales, you're selling people on coming to an event, right? So there's a two-prong approach. One would be there's a fear factor of you're going to lose something, you're going to take something away, or there's an add-on factor of you get this if you come, right? So I would look at both of those, see if you're leveraging them. One would be, maybe it's just a simple reminder. Hey guys, remember, if you sign up and can't make it, be sure to ping me before 24 hours. Otherwise, you're taking the spot that somebody else could have, and other people really need this help. Could you at least do that for me, right? Like have an ask about scarcity. Like there's only so many seats available, and relate it back to their kindness and, them as human beings, and taking somebody else's seat who warrants it and wants to be there. Or there's an add-on, like some type of a gift, right? So listen, if you sign up by such and such day, you are going to get the blah, blah, blah that you can only get by showing up here. But for some reason, you're not making it impactful enough for them to be there. So you've got to figure out which side do you need to lean on a little bit more.
And I love that you're saying that. I really do, and I appreciate it, because Mark and I have this conversation. Okay, I'm constantly, trust me, Heather, what can we do to improve? How can we improve this? Mm-hmm. And so, like, to your point about, letting them know, hey, this is taking a seat available. Like, we've done that. We've done the free value. We've done that. Like, I'm like, okay, what is going on? And so I'm scratching my head because we're giving, and I'm like, okay, where's the disconnect? So I really am, and maybe we just need to talk offline. Maybe we can figure this thing out, because I'm scratching my head and I'm going, why did we go from 25% just last year, right? There would be 25%. There's always, in job search, there's always a high percentage of no-show. Right, you can ask anybody.
Are you following back up with the people who don't show with an inquiry as to why they ended up not coming?
No, that's a good one.
We haven't. Yeah,
why don't we ask them directly, and let's find out if there's a commonality there.
No, yeah. That's great.
Great point.
I've had my assistant re-invite them, but not go back and get the feedback of, hey, what happened? Where were you?
That's high level accountability. Woo! They're going to show up for the next one if you come after them and ask what happened. Is everything okay? Hey, I just want to check in on you, make sure everything's okay.
I love that. Yeah.
That goes with that first part. Yeah.
Yeah. See that? Look, I'm learning today. Let's get some on that. Woo!
Yeah, get some. I'm out of my.
And speaking of accountability, I'm just saying, y'all, you gotta show up to what Heather was talking about. You got to show up. If you're gonna put it on your calendar, if you're gonna register, you're gonna give your information, your email, your all this and that and the other, and you're signing up. Unless it's like, we get life happens. Life always happens, right? Life's gonna happen.
Yep.
But at a 50%, that's just people not showing up. So we'll find out why. I like that. Let's get the commonality. Let's figure out what's the disconnect. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's too many notifications going out. Maybe that's driving them bonkers before they get there.
They're just sick of us by the time they get to the event.
Yeah, because we got the thing that gives them a text reminder, email reminder, this reminder, that reminder. Maybe it's like, they're like, dude, by the time I even see you.
Let's find out. Let's not decide for them. Let's let them tell you.
Love it. We've got a lot of mutual connections and stuff like that. Glenn Lundy and Shay and David Meltzer. I know you're familiar with him as well. So it's all about networking. This show is all about bringing fire. I want to bring people that can inspire and encourage our audience, because a lot of times they're at a low spot in life. They need that confidence. They need that fire, right? So there's someone that that has that fire, and Holly would kill me if I didn't ask you. She's a super fan.
Ooh, Holly's on you.
Yes. Autumn Calabrese. Look, I would love, if there's any way possible, to get an introduction to Autumn, because I need to bring Autumn on this show to bring some of that fire. So,
Are you saying her last name right?
Calabrese, right? Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
It's Calabrese. I'm pretty sure it's Calabrese. Yeah, I'm
Calabrese.
happy to introduce you to her. She's an awesome woman. Here's the only thing that I will tell you about Autumn is that she's super, super busy. Like she was launching a book and she wanted me to do a Facebook Live with her, and we had to change the date like 3 times. I mean, she's super, super busy. So just don't take it personal. It takes a while to get her scheduled. But yeah, for sure, happy to make an intro.
Hey, I appreciate that.
I had to give Trevor a hard time because that's his MO, getting names wrong. So
Yeah, I get them wrong all the time.
He
Hey,
tried.
Holly, did you hear that?
He gives it a college try. He's just not Harvard.
Holly, did you hear that? We're going to get Autumn on here. We're going to do that. We're going to make it happen just for you. I'm so excited about that. She's a big beach body,
For you, Holly. Yeah.
And so she just is like, got to have Autumn. So anyways, guys, Heather, thank you so much.
Wow,
I know you
Heather.
got to go. You've got another meeting to get to. And so we really appreciate you coming on here and lighting up the show. We really do.
Especially linking in with me. Y'all know something? Heather linked in with me.
Wow. You got it rolling.
Connections, everyone. I'm max on connections. I can't accept anymore. So please don't take it personal. Please just click the follow button and definitely send me an email, or you can go to my website, heathermonahan.com, with any questions.
Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.